Hey, welcome into Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture. And today we got an interesting show for you. We're going to really delve into the last moments of John Basilone and his life and talk about his love story. Should be an interesting one, right, Heather?
Yeah, this one's a great one. I love this episode.
Yeah. So get ready for a tearjerker and some interesting stuff about Iwo Jima next. Well, Heather, it's first of all, how are you? How are things going?
Doing great, man. Getting
Yeah.
yeah, enjoying some nice weather here, I guess, unlike the rest of the country, although a little bit too hot, but I don't wanna complain. I know everyone else is suffering, so yeah, but doing good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, it's we're finally over our cold spill here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, so we'll see. Um, yeah, Lombardi 1969 already typing in on Iwo Jima battle lasted from February 19th, 1945 to March 26th, 1945. So we're almost there in the time frame as it's February 1st. Wow. And, speaking of, February, the month of love and all of that. And we got kind of a love story in this one.
Yeah, this was a sweet love story, although, tragic and sad ending. I thought it was a cool love story. It was nice to see. At least they got a short period of happiness, and it was nice.
Yeah. So, folks, first of all, before we get into this really is John Baslone's life. And really want to say this first off. So thankful for his life. And so thankful for the Marines and so thankful for all those who are serving or who have served in our military. We're certainly so appreciative of you. And one of these episodes reminds us of what it really means to be a soldier and to really serve your country and to give everything. There's an old saying in a song that all gave some, but some gave all, and that's really in this. And I can't thank those who have served in our military or who are currently serving in our military right now enough credit, enough love and support. Definitely appreciate everything that they do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the summary. Heather, do you want to read the summary for this episode?
Yeah, let me grab that here. All right, so we are now on episode 8. John Basilone convinces the Marines to allow him to train troops headed for combat. He enjoys a whirlwind romance, but the couple know they are living on borrowed time as Basilone is soon to take part in the Marine landing on Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Very
interesting. Go
very
ahead.
focused episode. I liked it that it was focused kind of on his story and these 2 and but yeah, a fantastic episode, but heartbreaking for sure.
Yeah, I felt like they could have probably made it into its own series, or you could have made this into its own movie about him.
Yeah, he deserved his own movie, and so I'm glad that they kinda did this episode that just encapsulated his story there. I feel like of anyone, he should have his own movie, just given, his what, he's like, the only Marine was it in World War II, enlisted Marine to get
Mhm,
both the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross.
mhm, yeah,
Uh, Definitely a hero, so well known, a legend amongst Marines, and so this was cool to kinda see him even though he didn't get his own movie, he got this episode mostly dedicated to what he did.
yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we got John Basilone as one of the characters, and then we got Lena Reggie in this, but we got some other interesting characters. We do briefly see Eugene Sledge and Snafu, and you've got some new ones, Evanson, Tatum, and Jay. Are there any standouts for you, Heather, that you like in this one outside of John Basilone?
Yeah, it was nice, to get, some new guys in there. We saw the new recruits and through them, you kinda see their impression of him, like how well known he is, and see the comparison of those guys first coming in and what they think, so that was interesting to kinda see that. Sledge and Snafu, I love those guys. I don't know if they needed to be in this. We got a brief little snip, but, yeah, cool to see some new guys come in there.
Yeah. Also, folks, if you go back and watch the episodes, the cool thing with them, at least especially on the Blu-ray that I have, is it allows you to get the historical background before the episode. And I thought the historical background was pretty interesting. I like how they kind of wrap up Peleliu. And the sad thing is, we spent all this time on Peleliu, and so many Marines lost their lives on Peleliu, but unfortunately, it was never used to retake the Philippines, or the airfield was never used anywhere else, which kind of breaks the heart, and it kind of sets up a sad story here.
Yeah. It's great. I love the historical background in the beginning, and the footage that they have to go along with it is really good. I don't know. I know there's a lot of criticism, right, that maybe Peleliu they wasted the lives and the effort because they didn't use it, afterwards. I
Mhm.
don't know. At least the Japanese didn't have use of it, so I guess that's one plus that they they maybe could have used that airfield. Um, I don't know, but I mean, it's tragic, the huge loss of life there, to not have it used later, but yeah, that's tough to reconcile.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when I look at the war in the Pacific and all this island hopping, it was like pieces on a chessboard. If you kind of think
Mhm.
about it in those terms, to where it's not always something that you're going to use for your offensive game plan, but it's a defensive move to block the
Right.
Japanese military from fortifying other engagements. And particularly when we talked about Peleliu, one of the things that even Marty told me was that Peleliu was helped protecting a huge submarine base that we were able to knock out. And that's huge because we don't talk enough about sub warfare, but it was big, and it was a lot more influential than you might think in World War II. So
Oh, yeah.
that's something interesting to look at too.
Yeah, that's interesting. We don't talk about it much, but yeah, at this point in time, that would have been a big piece of the war. And
Mhm.
certainly, yeah, taking a piece off the board for the enemy is a plus either way.
Mhm. Yeah, and then the historical background kind of talked a little bit about Iwo Jima, and Iwo Jima having more American casualties than Japanese casualties for the first time,
Yeah,
which is kind of alarming and sad at the same time. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so,
Again, you see the territory on Iwo Jima, and it was bad on Peleliu, but Iwo Jima too, like, the terrain is really difficult, and it's, like, completely open. There's not
mhm,
a lot of cover there, and so
no,
they're just so exposed, so I'm not surprised that, like, that had a high casualties. Like, these beach landings have all seemed just brutal. Like, I can't even imagine, right? I mean, they're trying to land on a beach that's where the enemy's fortified, and they're taking all this heavy fire, but that is just so open everywhere. It feels like in a lot of these, like, the territory, once they got off the beach and they could kinda get to where there's some cover, but this felt like it was just open, so much of it was open that they were just constantly exposed, and, we don't get a very long look at it in this episode, unfortunately, but,
mhm.
I mean, this just felt like a very difficult position for them to come up in advance.
Yeah, and there are certainly several movies that cover Iwo Jima. Most notably, like this figures John Wayne from John Wayne's movie, The Sands of Iwo Jima.
Mhm.
The uniform may not be exactly accurate to a U.S. Marine soldier at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time. Um,
Pretty
it,
cool.
yeah, it's still pretty cool. So that's what this is from. But you have that movie, and you have of course, Clint Eastwood doing
But
flags of our fathers and letters from Iwo Jima.
right.
Um, are very very good World War II movies that talk more about Iwo Jima and kind of its strategic importance. But the other thing with some of these places is Iwo Jima. Marty told me that basically the Japanese government only opens it up and allows United States visitors there once a year
Oh,
in
really?
March. Yeah. So if you want to go see that, and I may try and do that next year, I'd love to go tour the Pacific. I want to go to all these places next year. I want to try and do that. So
Wow,
Iwo
interesting.
Jima will be on my bucket list of the places to go, but they
Right.
only open up one day in March.
Oh my God, wow. So you must have to really get reservations in advance to
Mhm.
get the whatever tour
Yeah.
that's going there?
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting for
Oh,
next year, and what I wanna do is try and go with Marty because I love his how he's told me
yeah,
about everything, so it'd be really cool to do that. And
yeah, it's
then,
interesting.
Peleliu, he told me that right now he's been to Peleliu recently. As a matter of fact, he's leading a tour back there, in another month or so, is that, um, that we've started rebuilding the airfield there, and we're gonna build up a base there. We've already got a base there, and we've already got planes there, so interesting stuff.
Is
So,
Iwo Jima still a base? Like, actively
I don't
des
think Iwo Jima is a base. I think it's just an island, but it's interesting.
so they have
Uh,
to use the airfield, right, if people are
mhm,
coming for tours, but is there
yeah,
any reason that there's only, like, once a year allowed there, or
don't know.
goes there normally? Is it just
Yeah, 2104 Dogface says very strict what you can take off the island. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, yes, Lombardi 1969 is part of the tour. I would definitely go to Okinawa. So that would be cool. That would be cool to visit Okinawa, but I don't know. Let me look up Iwo Jima and see if we got anything real quick
Yeah, it's just
on it.
interesting. I wonder why that would be, like, restricted to once a year, but they must there has to be a reason for it, I would think, beyond
Only thing I can think of is I've heard that there are still a lot of landmines and other dangerous stuff on it.
right? But seems
Um,
like a guided tour that
yeah.
they would take you to the places where they already knew it was cleared. Uh, I mean, interesting that they wouldn't have it more open for tours.
Well, it's a small island, but I also, I think Um, oh, okay. 21 for Dogface tells us a little bit. Um, Japan, per Japan, I think they treat it as a mass grave.
And Radioactive says it is still an active volcanic island. I have heard that it's an active
Yeah.
volcano still. Um, interesting. Maybe I mean, maybe it's just not safe or they just don't want tours going there walking around. I don't know. Interesting though.
Yeah, they can only visit the area through an official guide. A few official tour groups are authorized to take visitors to enjoy Iwo Jima sites. But, I'm just looking through this real quick. Yeah, it's a volcanic island. There's still not an active volcano, and sulfur can be found in certain areas. Iwo Jima is exceptionally hot during summer, so there may be limited tours during the hotter parts of the year. Um, Iwo Jima is still used today for defensive purposes. The island was returned to the Japanese people in 1968 after over 23 years of U.S. occupation. Since this remote volcanic outpost was handed back to Japan, its purpose have remained the same for defense. So it looks like they have an active maritime self-defense force there.
Hmm.
So interesting stuff. So fascinating. It'd be cool. I've heard and read that the Pacific tour takes about 2 to 2.5 weeks to do. And I definitely want to try and do that next year if I can. Because that'd be fun. I don't know if I'd want to start out all the way in Japan and then make my way back and spend an extra day in Hawaii. That'd be kind of cool to do that,
Yeah.
you
Have
know?
some actual, like, fun and relaxation to top
Yeah,
the
that's what I think I'd love to do is
after the
take
gruesome
it,
sights.
yeah, take it from Japan all the way back, do reverse flights coming back. Cool.
Yeah, that's a brutal flight, like, if you're going that far, you might as well get as much as you can, and stop in
Yeah.
Hawaii would be nice.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. That'd be awesome. So, but anyway, enough about travel. Um, but yeah, that's a little bit of the historical background. Let's get into a little bit about this story. I've got some pictures that I'm going to add to stage real quick as we kind of talk about it. But the first part is we do have Sledge and Snafu on Pavuvu. Remember, this is the other island where they kind of rest, and they have the rat population that's given them trouble before. But thought this was kind of interesting. Uh, so Sledge is brushing his teeth when we first open the thing, and it's like, okay, why are we watching this? And then you see this book that I think Snafu or some other Marine throws away, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, the book's called, Men at War, and he opens Sledge goes to dig it up out of the garbage and, opens it up, and it's, Captain Haldane's book, right?
Yeah.
Which he has written inside, and which is kinda sad, right? Just because
Mhm.
we just saw his unfortunate, death there, and it just made he was so beloved, it was kinda sad for him to open that and see his name there, and then also just how casual they are about tossing away a book, like throwing it in the garbage. Yeah, the title is kinda symbolic there, like you're throwing that away, but also just, how far we are away from the world that Sledge has come from civilization, and that you could just throw out a book and it's like, yeah, that's no use to us here. I thought that was kind of an interesting scene.
Yeah, I thought that was very fascinating, and I got that same sense. I'm like, wow, it's just like oh, that's no use for us here. Also, I thought it was kind of the anti-war vibe that they were throwing out there, kind of for show that we had talked about earlier in the season.
Mhm.
Um, and then I love Steph. Are my eyes yellow?
That was so funny. He's funny. He's like a good comic relief for this show, so I would like more of him too. Just so when he talked about being turned inside out from his intestines or something. I mean, it's
Yes.
it's funny. So I guess, just all the disease there, mosquitoes and dysentery and the gross food, and I'm sure they're just, he's paranoid about getting sick, but probably for good reason. I mean, it
Oh
just
yeah.
is nasty.
But I just love how Sledge has just had enough of it. It's like, you're
Right,
not. Shut up.
right. It's like, "You're not sick."
And then he goes to the other guy. Are my eyes yellow?
Yeah, right. The other guy's just looking at him like, "Oh god."
And then we find out that one of the other guys, Jay, has been transferred to the headquarter company,
Right.
and
It's
so
good for him, right? I
yeah,
mean,
good for him.
for further out of harm's way.
Yeah, and he's going to buy them all around. And so, while we never did get the bar scene with them, we might get that in the next episode when we get back to Sledge. But um, that at least that's in a decent place where we kind of know where they are and they're regrouping before
Right.
they go on their next mission. But we go back and we focus on what this whole thing focuses back on Basilone. I thought it was good that we saw Sledge and Snafu for a minute there. Kind of wraps up a little bit where they are and tells us where they are. That was good. They may not have needed it though. It might have been better to save that for the next episode and just got into Basilone's story and just kept
Right.
it all that. But I guess it helps with continuity in a way. But
Yeah.
what do
Yeah,
you think?
I could have done this just as a isolated Barcelona episode. I think it would have
Mhm.
been good. I mean, not that I mind seeing those guys, but you could just open the next episode with them doing that, right, and focus this here. I don't know. I would have arranged this show slightly differently, so, um, yeah, but I mean, it's fine. I don't hate it. It just
Yeah,
I just could have focused on Barcelona's story for this.
yeah, absolutely. And we see him back home and we see him preparing for a radio broadcast. And that's what you see these guys in the studio getting them ready for this broadcast. And I actually think it's some of his family members or relatives, and they're reading about him coming home. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool scene that gives you this context of what it's like back home, the war effort back home. And it's so, like, unique, I guess, for us because I think that was really the last time we saw such an extensive promotion of the war effort was World War II.
Mhm.
Like, certainly, like, the Middle East wars, it was much, much better than the anti-war sentiment that we had and the treatment of the soldiers in the Vietnam era, but it still didn't reach this level of the promotion with the, the radio broadcasts and the bond drives, and it was just really like they had created such an image around it. Uh,
Mhm.
which is interesting because I think, the population, we're so much more cynical now. There was so much more patriotism back then, even if it was kinda, they're putting on a show and Basilone kinda doesn't like it. He seems like it, seems kind of phony, but people were so much more patriotic, more innocent back then than they are now. It just this kinda was a neat time capsule.
Yeah, and 21 for dog face reminds us, gotta sell them more bonds and scrap metal drives. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. So I thought that was interesting. And then I don't have a picture of him eating dinner with his family, but I thought it was interesting how each one of them felt like they were famous because of him, and it's interesting to see his reaction to all that.
Yeah. He said he doesn't want everyone to know him. Right,
Hmm.
like, he was more, I think, doing this for serious purpose, not being treated like a hero, but because it needed to be done, or it was his duty, and I don't know. His family just kinda seems like celebrity hangers on a little bit, is the
Hmm.
impression that I get here, so, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and apparently in real life, he had tried to go back several times to get back into the Marines and go back with his buddies and go back over there and continue to fight.
Right.
Uh, he was turned down. He turned down an officer's commission as well,
Mhm.
because he knew if he was an officer, he wouldn't necessarily go back to the front
Right.
and get to fight with his buddies. And it's interesting to hear and learn about the history and learn about this guy because, he's a Medal of Honor recipient. One of the few Medal of Honor recipients that was still alive when he received his Medal of Honor.
Right.
Um, he is, helping to with the war effort, which is, while noble, he's a man of action. And
Right.
I think it's interesting, before we even get into the rest of his story, to like stop and pause and look at this guy as a person, and look at him through a different lens. A lot of people I think would say, "Hey, take the fame, take this, take that," and he's one of those guys that's no. I've got a purpose. I've got a job to do. Why wouldn't you want your best guy back on the front lines defending our country? There's a sense of duty, a sense of honor. There's something more to his character here.
Yeah.
And I think there's a spirit of America that we can take from his story and from this, um, which I think is really good and noble. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. It shows his character. He's definitely man of action, I think is the perfect way to describe it. He's a doer. He's not gonna sit back and, or just wanting to go to parties. I mean, he was geared that way and did it, of course, while he's out selling war bonds, as this is kind of just what's going on right now. But clearly he wants to be involved, and it is about it, what is your duty, what is your honor? Everyone else is out there fighting, doing their part. I definitely think that that's more shows his character and where he wants to be. And so, yeah, it's interesting. You can see why the military and the government is gonna want to use him as, like, a poster boy,
Mhm.
because he is a hero and he is one of the few, alive medal winners. So, yeah, I can see both sides why they want him there. He's a great promotional material. But, yeah, he clearly does not wanna be used for that purpose. He thinks he's useful out fighting and doesn't want other people what he perceives doing it taking the risk doing it for him.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about this is that, having gone through like depression and how he grew up, he finished like middle school but never attended high school. He got a job as a caddy all the way through what his high school years would have been. Drove a truck, joined the army at a young age, and then went out of the army and then enlisted in the Marines. So he's actually an older Marine. He's in his 30s at this point,
Mhm. Right.
um, when we're talking, because he was born in like 1916. But the thing about it is that there's a sense of workmanship. There's a sense of this blue collar pride uh,
Mhm.
that he has, in who he is as a character. He doesn't want all the life of leisure. He wants to earn it.
Yep.
And I think that's important that we talk about that, because as we go into his story, I think this is who he is, and what we need to really focus on and understand that. Um,
Yeah, agreed.
the Fat Election did a great video on him. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So, um, yep. Yep, Kurt James, thank you for putting that up about him. Yeah, he did earn his Medal of Honor for what he did at Guadalcanal. Yes, and then he got the Silver Star for what he did on Iwo Jima. We're gonna get to that, but yeah, I think it's important that we talk about that, and I think one of the ways that he does it is he gets to go back and at least train troops, and I think that in itself I think was good for
Mm,
him and good for his morale, which I think is great. Um, Yeah, here we go. Here's some more stuff.
mhm.
Yep. Yep. Only Marine to receive both those accolades, and we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
All right. So he's assigned to Camp Pendleton, and that I believe is in California. I can't
Mhm.
remember where in California. I think it's near San Diego, because that's near a Marine base between San Diego and Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Uh,
is it pretty close to Los Angeles? Because didn't they mention taking the train into Los Angeles?
yeah, they did. They took the train into Los Angeles. So pretty interesting. We see him when he first gets there, and there's like a captain, and he's like, "Well, you might as well enjoy it. There's nobody here. Do whatever you want." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna get myself back into shape." And we see him to start to do push-ups and start to run on his own
Well, but
before he gets to get there.
this guy kinda takes a shot at him, though, when he first gets there, like, "Well,
Yeah,
I" he goes, "I didn't get the war bond duty," or, something
yeah,
like that, something a little snarky, and I was like, "Dude, don't be lame." He's, like, jealous or pissed or something, and it's like, well, you can kinda see why now, right? Because you're just kinda kicking back, putting your feet
uh-huh,
up, and just being
yeah,
a jerk. I thought that was kinda funny.
yeah. And if this guy comes back, I would have said, "Wow, I'm surprised that you didn't want to take and keep all the accolades and live a comfortable life. Wow, why are you back here?
Right,
Thank you for coming. Maybe you're gonna
right,
you're gonna help me get more troops to train to go.
right.
You know,
The
so
captain was burned out. Yeah, I'm sure he was, but,
oh yeah,
who isn't burned out by this point, right? I mean,
yeah.
I
It's 1944 at this
think
point. So
these guys a lot of these guys have been through the ringer if they've been around this whole time.
mhm. All right. So he finds that there are like two cadets, and he starts
Mhm.
to train them, which I thought was really cool. He teaches them gun duty, and I thought that was interesting, that with the machine gun, teaching them how to set it up and get it out.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was odd that there's only 2 guys in there at first. I guess they hadn't all arrived yet, and then he just gets right to it, and it's interesting, one of the guys knows who he is and it's like, "Oh, wow," it's like a celebrity's in there because he's heard of
Uh,
everything he's done, and he is. I thought his training was good, and I really liked it. He's really hard on them, really tough on them, but it comes off so much better, than, like, what Sobel did in Band of
mhm.
Brothers because you can see that he's doing it like, he wants them to have the best chance to survive. Like,
Yes.
if you can't get this down, you're just gonna get killed, right? It's coming from a place of wanting them to live, wanting them to have the best chance, and
Yeah.
them and all the guys who are with them.
Yeah. I mean, he basically he lays down the why, which I think is great.
Mhm.
Where he tells them, "Hey, this is why you need to be so proficient at doing this,"
Right.
which I thought was really cool. 2104 Dogface says an old gunner. The training scene was great. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it was.
So, but he's preparing them for what he did. So, and yeah, these are the two guys. I forgot I had a picture of them, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, and then he meets Lena, and she's a non-commissioned officer who's working in the mess hall, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, this was cool. I think kids love at first sight for him, man. He stands up right
Yeah.
away and heads over there, and it was cool to see her, in here and see the women in this, right? Because there were a lot of women who helped fill the non-combat roles here, which I think helps because they're at this point, casualties had been so high that they're trying to get as many men as possible, right? Like trained and sent over. And so they're filling this, these non-combat roles that frees up so many more men to fight, which I think is kind of cool that they show them in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Zombie Box Review said, "Hi Rob, I found your channel through EBN. Thank you so much."
Hey,
Uh,
Zombie, welcome.
yeah, welcome. Yeah, glad to have all you guys here, and we're trying and be responsive to the chat as much as we can. I'm not monetized yet, but I'm almost there. So love hearing all your different comments. And then Kurt James mentions, thank you for your service to 2104 Dogface. Operated a 50 cal during GQ in the Navy. Oh wow,
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Yeah, those
Thank you.
50
Yeah,
calers, no joke.
thank you both.
Yeah, thank you both for your service. So it's interesting. So yeah, he meets her, and then we have the other one of her friends as well, and they tell him about, hey, there's a train that goes to LA that everybody gets on, and I thought that was interesting that you get the train, and it's like a drink cart, and he goes to talk to her, and she kind of gives him the brush off.
Well, first of all, I love that train. Like, I
Yeah.
love train travel anyway, like, even
Mhm.
in this day and age, but, like, there's just something that's so romantic about train travel. In these old school kinda dining cars with the full bars, and they got, the cool kinda metal chrome lights and stuff, and the big band music playing. I just thought I love the old train cars. I think it's cool. Even today, I love trains that have, like, a bar and a restaurant in them. Is really cool. But, yeah, she does a little bit, and I think it's because he's got a reputation.
Uh-huh.
Uh, deserved or not, I mean, he's out on this Bond tour that he doesn't wanna be on, he might as well, have his fun with all these, celebrities and actresses and whoever. But I think she kinda sees him as just, "You're looking for a fling or a one night stand or whatever, I've seen you with all these other ladies," so she's kinda just not taking him seriously and saying, "Eh," you know, "Thanks, but no thanks."
Yeah, she gives him the brush off, and then they go to LA, and they go to the Biltmore. And obviously it's a popular place where nobody can get a seat, but hey, he's John Basilone and he's got some pull. And so he basically says, well, I could get a table. And she's
Right,
like, oh, really? And her friend's like, no, I'm gonna hang out with the Navy tonight. And
yeah.
and so um he's like, he gets a table, and it's more than a table. So he gets the presidential suite. He's like, "They always have this for me." So
Yeah, so he's famous, they're gonna give him the presidential suite. I don't know, it probably comes off worse to her, right? Because
oh,
she's like,
yeah.
"I said you could get a table and now you're getting a room," like, it kinda again comes off like he's just kinda expecting a hookup, which I think she was not happy with, but, yeah, it's interesting that they're just like, "Oh, yeah," to him, whatever, r roll out the red carpet for him, but, yeah, and the friend is like, "Oh, I'm off with these Navy guys, so I'll see I'll see you later."
Yeah. She's like, "Go for it," I think she's just trying to encourage her and just
Yeah, she's trying to facilitate there, but, funny then the story when she's leaving. She's like, "Well, we were in line at this other place where I saw you, you came in with one starlet and then you left with another one." And so her impression of him is that he's just,
he's
out
a
to
player. Yeah.
yeah, he's just a player.
Yeah, you went in with the blonde and came out with the brunette.
Right, right.
Which I thought was interesting. And then also, like, he's in the original, and he's trying to make a normal conversation, and she's like, well, why don't we just get to it in between the sheets? And he's like, no, I don't want that.
Right.
He's like, finally, I just want a normal life. And I think this is like the change in him, because the other aspect that I get from him with all this, the Hollywood tours and the war bonds, and I think he understands the purpose of it, but I think he saw how fake
Right.
people were.
Yeah,
And
just kind of fake and shallow and using him for whatever they could get, right?
And we saw that in the one scene where a couple episodes ago, where he's with that one celebrity, and she's like, she just kind of uses him for his celebrity, and she's like, "Yeah, you use me, I use you. That's
Mhm.
how it works here." And
Yep.
he's like, he was taken aback by that. And
Yeah.
so,
Yep. But no, I think it definitely opened his eyes a little bit, maybe made him appreciate the normalcy more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was also funny, her little line towards the end where she leaves and she's like, "Well, tell the chef the steak was okay. It's
Right.
just average." I'm like sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, wow,
Right.
this is
Kinda
the
like
muscle person."
she thinks she's a better cook, but
Yeah. Oh
she
yeah, she probably is.
she
So
probably is. I mean, she's Italian, so
yeah,
she probably is, but yeah, you can tell she's a serious person, probably high character because she's joining the Marines wanting to serve and takes herself kinda seriously, and she just you can tell she thinks he's just total player in the beginning, and it's interesting how he kinda it changes her mind. She starts to see, like, "Oh, that's not really the case," and changes as it goes along.
yeah. Even the '40s Hollywood was Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not to get into it, but yeah, there are a lot of scandals from way back in the day, old Hollywood.
Yep.
Having visited there, and I went to the Rose Bowl in 2010, going on 2011, and we toured Hollywood, and we talked to some locals about some of the celebrities and some of the history, and they told us, some of these people, we know what they did. Oh my gosh, the awful stories. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It
you
was
know,
always like that.
yeah. So unfortunately, it's that way.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, and then he comes back. There's a new CO who's just a lieutenant, who's a different guy, um, who's a little bit more polished, not as much of a slacker.
Yeah.
Apparently, the captain went AWOL or something like that,
Right.
um, which is interesting. And he's like, "Well, I only have two people." He's like, "Well, you better get ready because the rest of them are coming like tomorrow." So,
Yep.
um,
And they have some good scenes again. I think the
yeah,
training boot camp scenes are well done. Um, they've somehow we've seen so many training camp scenes, but they managed to make them different, kinda geared to what they're doing. So I thought they did a good job with that.
yeah. So I thought I thought that the training was interesting, where he's getting the guys together, and he's the two guys that he had started with have it down, and you see that in there. And then I think that it was cool that he shows them the trick with the carrier. Hey, you can even put the carrier on it, and then you can fire while carrying it, which I
Yeah.
thought was awesome.
Well, he, I'm sure he appreciates that after having third-degree burns on his hands from picking that up in
Oh
Guadalcanal.
yeah,
He picked up that when it was hot, and he didn't have a choice. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, he was badass when because he's showing them, like, how to hook it around and carry it when normally, like, it's stationary and you've got one guy holding it and another guy holding the ammo, and
uh-huh.
he just grabs it himself with this carrier, which makes it, like, not completely stable, and just runs with it and, like, takes out the target. I'm like, "Holy crap." He's like
Yeah,
G.I. Joe and Superman, like,
yeah,
they all in one, and the guys, that he's training are just like, "Oh my god, wow."
yeah,
He just, like, crazy with it. I thought that
yeah.
was cool.
I like the updated machine gun too. I mean, this is
Yeah,
a gal
yeah,
that's a lot better, a lot easier to use
yep,
for him rather than the other one.
yep.
And then he makes another play for her, which I think is awesome, that he goes back
Yeah,
and he asks her out, and she knows the restaurant that he wants to take her to, and she's like, yeah, I know that place. And he's like, oh, great. She's going to turn me down again. And she's like, no, I can't go because we've got a big thing, uh, you know, Friday night. But hey, how about breakfast tomorrow at 0500,
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought that was cute. I liked that whole scene.
yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
She's
Uh,
not into the fancy dinners and stuff, hotels,
no.
right? She says, "Yeah, I'll make you breakfast," and I think she's kinda sussed him out a little bit. Figures, well, maybe there's more to him than what I originally thought. So, let me, let's not do these dinner hookup things. Let me propose having breakfast and see how that goes. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. And then I thought it was cool. They basically, so he gets them up at like 3:30 for a run, for 10-mile run. So
Yeah,
he's really gonna want breakfast after that. I'm just like, dude, you know you're doing this just because you have a 5 o'clock date.
right, 100%.
Um,
That's
but I
alright. Make
but
that
I
sense.
love how the guys, the Marines are like, I just want to kill some Japanese soldiers.
Mhm,
And he basically kind of corrects them on the Japanese soldier, which I
mhm.
thought that was very interesting and very true. And I thought that scene was really good because I think that the Marines that he's training start to really understand and appreciate him more, you know?
Yeah, I loved his speech to them. Basically, like, "Do not underestimate this enemy. Like, take it seriously. They're not the caricatures that you've seen. Their only goal is to kill you, and they have no value for their own life in doing it. They're just there to take you out, and they're good. They've been doing this a long time. They're experienced. They're experts at their weapons. Like, don't mess around." So, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and it's like they can survive on maggoty rice and water for two
Yeah,
weeks,
right.
which what they said earlier, which is awesome that he knows all that stuff and he's telling them that because I think it really prepares them. Holy cow, this is not just the rah-rah stuff that I see on the movies and TV shows and the reels and all that. So,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, he has them go on this run. We don't get to see the run, which we don't. I don't think we need to see more men running and stuff like that in full gear. That's always
Yep.
cliche with all the military movies. But he comes in at 5 a.m. for breakfast. And I thought that was a sweet moment. So
Yeah, their breakfast talk was nice. I think you can see here they're developing a nice relationship. They have a good conversation about, home and the Marines and I don't know, it just shows both of their characters, right? That they're both more serious, they both take their job seriously, their family. Um, it was good, and I think it's good that this is finally in this setting, she can get to know him as a person, not just this character that's been built up, in the media. Kinda like he was saying, all the Japanese, you've seen all this propaganda and these caricatures, he's kinda gotten the same treatment, right? Like,
mhm.
he's got this public persona that's not really him, and so this was cool. I thought this was a nice little scene, eating French toast.
Yeah, and I thought she goes, there's enough per seconds, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then she pours him a cup of coffee, and he's like, "Yeah, a cup of coffee," and she's like, "Oh, I heard the story," and he's like, "Well, no, let me tell you the more important part about it, about how they made the cup of coffee."
Right,
Uh,
the coffee on Guadalcanal and
yeah,
yeah.
so
Her story was kinda sad about her cup of coffee with her family not really, you know,
well, it
approving
was
and
interesting
all.
because her family expected her to, get married and have kids, and she wanted a career and join the Marines, and her father kind of disowned her. And then when she went back to visit her folks, she was in a diner, and it's her dad who came and sat next to her and
Yeah.
poured the sugar and put the cup,
Yep.
like he finally understood her,
Right.
which I
Yeah,
thought was really, really cool, really interesting.
yeah. That was nice.
So, but it's both of these two are kind of in their 30s at this point. They're a little bit older.
Mhm.
Um, they had, they had their time where they were, it seemed like they both kind of wanted to find out who they were rather than go to what their family expected them to be.
Yeah.
And I think they've come into their own and understand that they want to serve in the military. They understand what the life is like.
Right.
You know.
They're definitely kindred spirits who get each other.
hmm
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. That's romantic, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. This is, to me, romantic. It's real. But very just sweet with them. It's so much better than, like, the stuff with Lecky that just seemed kind of phony and not really realistic. I thought these were really well done. This was really cool.
hmm And then we get back to training where they get the guns all right, and they're learning to move and shoot as well. There are a couple of less confident Marines where he just is encouraging them, "Hey, you need to practice this,"
Yeah.
um, which I thought was really good. Um, and I thought it was, it just shows his leadership. He tells it like it is, but he's not such a hard ass that he can't teach as well. And I think that's a difference between him and like Sobel, you know?
Yeah, huge difference from Sobel. I mean, he's not just being a hard ass just for the sake of it. He's not doesn't have any, like, ill intent. He's trying to make sure they, have a better chance of surviving and
hmm
wants them to be good,
Yeah.
wants to make them the best that they can be. It's more out of a care for them than just being a jerk.
Yeah. And I think and the other thing about it that we see with this is that um, with these men, it's not about him, it's about them. And
Mhm.
then in his personal life with Lena, it's about them and what he truly wants after the war. I think that the thing about him is we see this transition is that I want to make these guys the best. I want them to be able to survive. I want them to be able to get the job done the right way. But I think there's a part of him that there's a part of him that's settling down and trying to figure out what he really wants his life to be going forward.
Yeah. Yep,
Mm.
I think
You
so.
know. And then we get the beach scene, which I thought was kind of fun and kind of tender.
Yeah, this was sweet too. Kind of an homage to, From Here to Eternity, don't you think?
Mhm.
Like,
Oh
the
yeah.
beat
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
not as hot, but,
No.
it's
No.
more sweet and innocent, but yeah, it's a nice romantic scene. Beach scenes are always a good romantic setting, so this was nice too. I liked it.
Yeah. I lost my hat, and then he goes in and gets it.
Alright, gets all wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, gets all wet, kinda tackles her when he's all wet, and
Yeah.
gets her wet
Yeah.
too. That's
Yeah, and
good.
I love this picture. That's why I made it the main
Yeah,
picture,
yeah, that's
um,
a good one.
because I thought that was really sweet, and it's really cool, and I'm glad they had that. Then we get that the Vision is shipping out. They skipped a little bit about what happened with him. Basically, his enlistment ran out, and then he reenlists, and then he's going to be shipped out with this division. And I thought it was interesting. He brings the guys to attention. And I thought the cool thing was the captain comes in and tells them, "Hey, we're gonna be on a ship, in a couple weeks. We don't know where we're going, but hey, John Basilone's going with us." And then I love the conversation that he has about being scared. What did you
Yeah.
think about that?
No, I love that, and that would certainly make me feel better to know that, if I was one of those guys that he was coming with us, that
hmm
would make me feel better, but yeah, when he says, "Who's scared? Are they scared?" and they say, "No, sir," and he basically calls it out as bullshit, right? Like,
Yeah,
of course you're scared, and it's good to be scared, right? Because that's gonna make you sharp and keep you alive and focused, and he's like, "Yeah, it's okay to be scared. It's not that you're not scared. The courage is in facing it." But, yeah, his comments were good there too.
yeah, and I like that. I think it really has a bonding moment, and it's telling the truth without hiding it, and really bringing them into the forefront of what it's like. 2104 Dogface. Oh, before I forget, prayers for Gloucester,
In Gloucester,
Massachusetts.
yeah.
Lost a fishing boat with a crew of 7 and only one body recovered. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Oh yeah, definitely thoughts and prayers.
oh
Oh my
God,
goodness.
yes.
Yes, definitely pray. I mean, it's just ooh. Yeah, I mean, this time of year is rough for fishing boats in the
Yeah,
winter and just oh
it
my
is
goodness.
that's so sad. Yeah,
Mm.
prayers for them and for their families.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Definitely. Um then once we find out that he goes back to Lena and they have the talk, the relationship talk, which I thought was very interesting. And she's like, I'm in it for the long haul, which I thought was really cool. So
Yeah, that was good. I mean, he comes up and is like, "Look, this is how I'm enlisting. I'm gonna go to war if I understand if you aren't up for that." And she's like, "Nope, I'm I'm totally in it too, 100% for the duration of the war and then some." And so yeah, then they're like, "All right, let's do it. Go to the
yeah,
wedding."
that's real. I'm gonna fast forward through a couple things because here's some actual pictures of their wedding.
Mhm.
Which I don't think they did enough of. I mean, they show briefly just the picture scene, but these are some actual pictures of their wedding. There's them with their
That's cool. You know what? They did a great job casting, the actress.
oh yeah,
Um, yeah, in the scene, I mean, she looks just like in the show.
yeah. I mean, look, there's a picture of her right there.
Yeah, in that wedding dress, man, it looked just exactly like her. Oh, that's
There you go.
cute.
There's them cutting the cake.
Yeah. Well, at least they got a little bit of happiness before
Yeah,
he shipped out, and it's just it's really sad.
but yeah, I mean, there's yeah, that's a great picture. I think you know. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really interesting before the, and then there's another one right there. So they're walking down the aisle after they got married. So that's really sweet, you
Mm,
know. And I'm glad I found these old photos. I thought it
yeah,
really did a little more justice than some of the stuff. It's like he wanted to take a picture of her and take a picture of you two together. So pretty cool.
very
Um, but yeah, I thought those were sweet pictures of them and those moments. And then they go for their honeymoon. And okay, so she's from Oregon, I think, or her family lives in Oregon. So they honeymooned in Oregon at a family farm. Is an onion farm, from what I read.
Hmm.
Interesting stuff, and a not so steamy sex scene here. I don't know. It was interesting, but I'm like, what? So,
I don't know. I thought it was better than the one with Lecky.
oh
To
yeah,
me,
well, it's much better than the one with the Lecky. That was weird.
that just didn't land for me at all, that one. I don't know, this one was I don't know, seemed kinda realistic, kinda fun.
It,
It
it
was
was
okay.
okay, but I just these scenes are so awkward, and I don't know why. This is freaking Hollywood. Aren't you supposed to be able to?
Well, were they trying to make it more realistic? Like, maybe I mean, it would like
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought it
I
was
don't know.
okay. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
Maybe they're, like, a little bit hesitant and but yeah, it was alright. I mean, they were fine.
yeah.
I thought it was okay.
But yeah, it's interesting that it was in the kitchen of all places. But so it starts out in the kitchen and she's like, "Get your clothes off, sir." And he's like, "Whoa." I was just like, "Whoa, okay, all right." So, and then we get the pillow talk scene um, with
Oh,
both of
yeah,
them.
where he wants to have, like, 6 kids or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're talking about their future and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, and you know, and you get the I guess the obligatory HBO nude scenes, which it's just like okay, all right, whatever. And then you get the sweet scene where she's gonna make him breakfast and he's just watching her. and you can see
Yeah,
love in his eyes, and just I thought that was kind of cool.
yeah, I thought all
Mm.
their scenes were sweet together.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done.
So, but yeah, so we get that, and then afterwards they're shipping off to Iwo Jima. And I thought this was interesting. They're on the beach, and there's some Marines that are just digging in. I mean, it's crazy. It's intense. Honestly, I thought this would rival some of Saving Private Ryan. What'd you think of the beach scene?
Yeah, it was really good, super intense. It was very short though, was the thing,
Hmm.
right? They didn't show a lot of it here. And I guess, right, we've spent a ton of time on Peleliu. We've already seen, a couple of landing on the beach, trying to take islands. We've seen a lot of the beach fighting. There's been other movies on Iwo Jima. So I guess all that combined, maybe they didn't feel like, okay, let's spend a bunch more time on this. I thought it could have used a little bit more time. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
what was there was really well done.
Hmm.
Again, it's just horrific, like trying to land on these beaches and then try to advance up to a spot where they can actually, start setting up and getting, get a little bit moved forward. But yeah, these guys, I mean, crazy. Some of them were just like hunkered down on the beach, and you see him like trying to move him forward, like you got to get up because you're not, you might feel like you need to hunker down here better than like, I just can't imagine like, the machine guns are like shooting straight towards you. How you force yourself to like get up and move toward it. But it's just like you're not, you feel like maybe you're safer dug in, but you're not, because eventually they're going to zero in on you. And it
Oh
just,
yeah, it's crazy. And I want to say hi to Matthew Eagle 2223 Orville Nation
hey,
as
Orville
well.
Nation. Hey,
Yeah.
guys.
So glad you guys are
Yeah,
here.
great to see you.
Um, but here you see Basilone. I mean, he's just encouraging his guys, get up, keep moving, because he knows the drill. He knows what they need to do.
Right.
Um, and so they get up there and they get to where the bunker is, and he knows what to do and how to take it out. And so he's directing his guys, which is great. He's like, set it up here. No, you keep firing over there. And then as they're doing the burst, he brings up other guys, and then they're able to.
Right. And then the guy runs back though. They're like, the Japanese are entrenched in this bunker, and it's good because they've got the machine guns focused on him in burst, right? So the other guy can run around and throw what he throws, like a grenade in there, I guess,
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
first. But then he just runs straight back. Like, instead of waiting for the bursts and coming around again, I guess he must thinks it's clear, but he just runs straight out and gets shot right away. The guy is just
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, it's killing me."
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that was another rough scene, taking the bunker, and then they take it out, like, these bringing in this fire, like, burning people out, and when they
Yeah.
all
So the
when they all
flamethrower.
come running out, right, again, and just waiting. Then he's got, you see, what I liked about this too is they show the tool from
Mhm.
training to get
Yeah.
to move with the machine gun, and they actually use it when these guys are running out, when the Japanese soldiers are running out of the bunker. They're using it to go down in the trench.
Yeah, and he's taking them out as they come out because he knows how it works and he knows how they are, which is really interesting because I mean his unit is advancing, the rest of them are caught up on the beach, and he takes them. He just takes the machine gun. He's like, "Follow me."
Yep.
He's almost like what Dick Winters did in Band of Brothers. Hey, follow me.
Yeah.
Especially in the scene uh, where Winters is running across the field. He's like, "Follow me." This is the same type of thing that Basilone is doing. And he takes down that whole trench.
Yeah.
Um,
He does. He reminds me so much of Winters too in this. That's what I was
mhm,
thinking. And where, like, everyone's under fire and people are getting hit, and he's standing up like right in the middle of it, being, getting guys up and moving, giving people direction, taking other, the enemy out himself. And you just like, this is a miracle that he's not getting hit.
Yes.
That goes on, like, for a long time, just like I always thought with Winters. I'm always like, "Oh my god, it's just a miracle that he's not getting hit." And
Yeah.
you think that here again, it goes on and on and on and on until finally you're like, oh, because he should have been hit, like, so many times
Oh, yeah.
up until then, he's taking, like, so many risks,
Yeah.
um, and just
Absolutely.
oh god, when it finally happens, it's almost not believable
Yeah.
because
Yeah, we're
you
getting there. We're
you
getting
expect
there.
him to just keep beating the odds, right? Because he
Oh,
has
yeah.
until this point.
Well, and there was a point where he had hit a Japanese soldier and he kept moving past him, and that Japanese soldier gets back up, and the guy behind him kills the Japanese soldier, and it's kind of and he turns back and he realizes it, and also I think it's him connecting with one of the soldiers he trained. See, these guys don't give up, and that's good that you got him a second time, you know.
Uh-huh.
Um, so he gets them up through the trench to the position where they're supposed to be, and they're there before before everybody else, and nobody else on the other side is coming up. So there's like two fronts, and they're supposed to meet and take the airfield. Is kind of how it works.
Mhm.
So they're different sides of the island. They're supposed to meet, connect, and move forward to take this airfield on Iwo Jima. And he's like, okay, well, we're supposed to be, and he basically tells them, hey, don't leave this position. I'm going to go back to the beach and go back and get everybody else. And he's got, machine guns, the machine guns where it's supposed to be, come hell or high water, you stay here.
Mhm.
And so he's basically telling them that, and I think they understand his position because what he did at Guadalcanal was, hey, he stayed in that same position and fired his machine guns. So they understand that, and I think it's really cool that he does that. And then he goes back to the beach, um, and so the beach. This is the part where I don't think he gives it enough credit. We're going to tell you what really happened here in a minute. But he goes back to the beach. He meets up with the tanks. You see a tank get hit, which was kind of interesting. He's like, "Where are you guys? Come on, follow me." And he's trying to lead them all back across the airfield back to the other position.
Well, tons
And
of guys were just sitting there by the tank, right?
yeah, oh yeah. And
They're
he's
having
like,
here,
"Come
and they're
on, we
just
got to go.
all
You can't just
everybody's
hide
kind of
there."
crouched there, right? And yeah,
Yeah.
'cause he had opened kinda opens, like, this little causeway, and
Mhm.
everyone's supposed to follow, right?
Mhm.
Going up towards where their objective is, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's what was like, "Oh my god, only his guys' immediate unit
Yeah.
went with him, and everyone didn't follow, they're just all hunkered down again," which is
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Oh,
Like I
and
don't know, did they lose a lot of their leaders in the when they landed? Because it felt like there weren't a lot of people giving direction to like, "Hey, we got here's where we're going." He was the only one kinda pulling up, and I'm like, "Well, did, like, the other sergeants or lieutenants, did they get hit, like, the guys who were supposed to be giving direction?"
I don't know. I kind of wonder also if some of them were green and
Yeah,
they had not had experienced battle, and they didn't have enough experience vets with them to tell
that
them, "Hey, keep moving, keep going." And I
yeah,
think that's part of it too, because you know, you got his forces was a new company and a new group that they were going in, and I wonder if these were newer troops that were coming in, newer Marines.
I think they were, right? Because the casualties were so high on
Mhm.
Peleliu and other places in the Pacific, and those guys are kind of they're already where they are, and these were a lot of new recruits. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure that's part of it, but, oh god, yeah, this was brutal, and yeah,
Mhm.
2104 for dog face. It says it's brutal. Bunker and trench clearing can be brutal. Guy it looks brutal because you just don't know, there's got such good cover in there and trying to get them out, and you don't know how many are in there and where there more entrances and exits, and God, it does just looks just
Yeah.
awful.
Plus, you had Japanese aircraft that was taking out some of the tanks and taking some of them out as well. So it just wow, it's scary. And anyway, he's leading up through a clearing, And then he gets shot down, he gets taken down, and it's just it's sad the way he falls. And then you see other men fall, and one of them kind of trips over his hand. I thought that was a weird way to film it, but you see him passing away, and it's very sad
Yeah.
the way they had it. And then um, after you see that, then we get this scene with Lena on the beach, which is just a very sad moment, and it kind of ends there.
Yeah.
And
Seeing her there was just heartbreaking. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
I was kinda glad they didn't show, like, an actual scene of verbally, like, her getting the news and, talking, and I think that was good for me because you already know she's gotta be devastated, and so just showing her there on the beach, I thought was a good way to end it rather
yeah,
than.
and this is where we can kind of introduce the book here, because the companion book is very interesting. It's very good, and Marty even said that it was really a good book to have. It's the Pacific. It's kind of the companion piece, and it basically fills in some of some of um, the rest of the story, which is kind of sad. And we're going to kind of go over that here, but I want to. Here was their wedding photos again. I'm going to get past those real quick, but I want to show there's some actual slides from Iwo Jima. This is kind of what it was like. Some actual pictures. A Marines hunkered down right there. Just kind of crawling up those beaches. I mean, I can't imagine what that was like. I mean, just crazy. And there's another picture of Basilone, another couple pictures of the real person, and then somebody's mockumentary of him.
Alright.
And there is his statue.
Yep.
So
Cool.
I thought that was cool. And that's more the machine gun that he had on Guadalcanal.
Right.
And that's part of his funeral. But so it's interesting. So let's just talk about the real history. Heather, real quick, do you have the book handy?
Yeah.
So I thought this map was kind of interesting on page like 377. I don't know if you want me to hold it up, or you can hold
Yeah,
up. And
yeah, you can hold it up if you got it
here,
ready.
I'll put it on myself real quick. So here is the map on that page that tells you basically there's Iwo Jima, and both of those Marine divisions were supposed to go and meet, and then take the island, go straight across the island. So they have those two beaches. They come together where that triangle is, and then kind of go up from there, which I thought was really cool and really interesting. Gives you perspective. Oh, let's go to. Wait a minute, hold on. So, but yeah, that's what that looks like, that map. But basically, I thought that was an interesting thing that we had talked to, that Marty had told us about before, that we read. So you guys remember back when we first started this, we talked about how the Japanese would also target uh, any of the medics,
Mhm.
because they felt like if you had a medic, he'd probably help a guy that could continue to fight against us and continue to hit us. So anytime they yelled for a corpsman, the Japanese knew it was a medic, and they became targets. So they didn't have the right crosses on their helmets, other stuff. But it tells us in the book that they were to yell something else, which I thought was interesting. Uh,
Tallulah?
Tallulah, after a famous actress, and
Funny.
so they were instructed to tell, if somebody was injured, instead of yelling for corpsman, um, yell Tallulah, which I thought was interesting. And I wanted to make sure we had that. And then 2104 Dogface says, in the 90s and 2000s, they're still trained for trench bunker clearing. had a buddy in the first Gulf War, was a tanker, but was ordered to drive a Hummer through a minefield and clear some bunkers using an M16, a port gun from Bradley, and a big bag of grenades and mags. Yeah.
Jeez.
Um,
Wow.
so a guy my dad served with, we called him Big Mark because my brother was named Mark, and he was just a baby at the time. But Mark died in the Gulf War when his truck hit a mine. So
Mm.
yeah, a sad reminder of that. But so let's just talk a little bit about what Basilone did. So the part of it that I think they should have made it longer, because he got his men to the trench, and we see that, and he told them to stay there, and we see him go back to the tanks, but there's a lot more that he actually did. So after telling his men to hold the position, he went back, and there was a minefield that he led the tanks through. He
Yeah,
helped
that's
them get through a minefield. So, like, if you could sit there
incredible.
and imagine, he's going all the way back in there. You see some of what's going on the beach. He gets the tanks and he leads them through a minefield. Now, there's some guys in the European theater that did the same thing and died leading tanks through a
Right,
minefield. He
right.
doesn't die yet leading them through the minefield, which is just
Yeah.
difficult in itself. My goodness. I wish they
I
would have
wish they
shown
would've
some of that.
Yeah, I wish they would've shown that. That would have been a
Mhm.
great, because we've seen so many battle scenes. That would have been something different though, right? Like, we of all the battles we've seen, we haven't seen that.
Uh-huh.
I wish they would've showed that. I think that's where probably, don't show Sledge and Snafu at the beginning. Just make this a Basilone episode and
Mhm.
make that a little longer so we can show that whole action, on Iwo Jima, everything that he did. I think that would have been probably more fitting.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that he did was, and I know it may have been redundant to show this, but he meets up with Waters, which is another former Marine that he knew, and he's like, "Follow me," and he and Waters go clear out another trench
Right.
with another machine gun. And he's like, "Follow me," leading the way, and he gets way ahead of Waters according to the book, and he's just a badass cleaning out this entire trench.
Yeah,
So he's creating a whole nother position up back to his guys that he told to stay there.
right.
So he cleared it out for the tanks to get there. He's clearing out for more soldiers to get up there on Iwo Jima. And this is the first day of Iwo Jima.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, it's
so
everyone's landing, right.
yeah. And so they have to cross the airfield, and the airfield, it does show that he gets killed in the airfield, but he does all that before going across the airfield and then getting hit. And apparently he gets hit like really brutally. I mean, like
Yeah,
in the groin, in the chest. I
yeah,
mean, it's bad.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know if you read any of that, if you want anything to add to that part of the book.
Now, just that, I mean, I don't wanna go into detail, but just that was really gruesome, his injuries and the way he got hit.
Yeah.
I do think a book was written by one of his men, and I think it's actually one of the first 2 who was in
Mhm.
there that he trained, and they
Yeah.
actually saw it happen, which I
Yeah.
think is sad. It just really would be had to be a huge impact to them when
Yeah.
seeing that happen because they were close to him. But yeah, just brutal. I can't imagine, I mean, yelling for a medic, anyone at whatever you're yelling at that point in time, there's no way they're gonna get there. And then the fires,
Mhm.
they're under such heavy fire. I mean, you just gotta wait, right, until they get established,
Yeah.
like, on there, right? I don't know. I feel like they would just get shot running up there because it's the Japanese aren't gonna give them any sort of leeway with that.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that there was debate that he got hit with shrapnel, and no, it was actually a Japanese sniper that took him out,
Mhm.
according to eyewitnesses. So it's interesting. And then I read that when he passed, when he went down, it sent kind of a shockwave through the Marines.
Oh, I bet it would because,
Yeah.
he's so looked up to, and these guys knew him from training them, and his reputation, I would imagine that would be a huge hit to morale at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was February 19th, 1945, and, so we need to talk about Lena because we have to tell this story because I feel like it needs to be a part. I'm glad they didn't show it in the series. I'm glad I read about it later, but I reading about some of this Niagara Falls. I mean, it's sad, but I want you guys to know this because I think it's important that we know these people and how much they cared for each other and what happened in their lives. But um, so, do you want to tell some of the story, or you want me to
No,
go
you
into
can go
it?
ahead. You can go ahead, and then I'll add whatever.
Okay. All right. So, February 19th, the day that he actually dies, she reads that 10,000 Marines had landed on Iwo Jima. And while she's reading about this and she's doing her duties cooking, she spills grease on her leg and foot. And it's very hot grease. And she has severe burns. And so she's taken to the infirmary real quick. And um, she's in the hospital for quite a few days, for a few weeks, treating her burns and stuff like that. And then um you know it she's still in the hospital on her birthday, which is March 7th, which is ironic that it's my dad's birthday as well, which is kind of interesting. I was like, wow, that's my dad's birthday. But it was her 32nd birthday, and she's recovering from burns in the hospital. And basically somebody comes with a letter letting her know that John had passed. And so she gets that on her 32nd birthday while recovering from burns. And she's basically, they had to stop her from screaming. They gave her something that to kind of knock her out. And because they don't really want the word about him dying over there getting out yet, because that could really just demoral demoralize the entire military.
Yeah.
Um, and so she's given furlough and told not to say anything. I mean, my goodness, what on earth? That just killed me when I read that. What did you think about that, Heather?
Yeah, it's so sad. I mean, that whole thing, I mean, it's a weird circumstance, right? I mean, reading that, I mean, she had to have some sort of understanding when she reads that about Iwo Jima. I would think the startling it may would make you spill the grease anyway, right? Like, you're just
Mhm,
because that's your immediate thought, and then as she's in the hospital recovering, like, the doctor comes in, is like, "Oh, I'm gonna move you to a private room," just to he doesn't wanna tell her in public, but you have to get the feeling like, "Oh, this has gotta be bad news," like,
mhm,
whenever that happens, and God, this was just so heartbreaking for her because she's already 30, she was just gonna be dedicated to the Marines. I don't think she ever thought she would get married or meet the right person. So then to meet the love of your life and just have this such a short time with them, and then to
mhm,
find out in that kinda way, I mean, I know you know the risks and that's a likely outcome, but still getting the actual news would just be horrible, and that kinda shock, and then to have them be like, "Well, you can't say anything." I don't think she has anyone there to even grieve with, right? Because her family's not there. I know there's other, women she's friends with there, but then she can't say anything. I mean,
mhm.
to just have to hold that in. It's just such a tragic story. It's really sad. I love the comment that she made. So she never remarried, right? She passed away in 1999, um, buried with her wedding ring, from him, and, when she was asked why she remained a widow, she said, "Once I had the best, I couldn't settle for second best." And I
Yeah,
thought that was so sweet that she was so loyal to him up until the end of her life. So, I mean, that just had to be, just awful.
yeah. And the thing about her is she left the Marines not long after this, full honors and discharge, and went on to become a receptionist. I believe she lived in Oregon and then later retired to Northern California. But she spent time, involved with her church, was a receptionist. Um, one of the sad things I'm just going to mention briefly because like there's a lot of sad stuff like
Yeah,
between her and the Basilone family. Unfortunately, they didn't get along, and that's really sad. But she couldn't make it to his second burial, so he was buried on Iwo Jima as all Marines were, and then finally, after a few years, I think 1948 is when they brought him home and buried him in Arlington Cemetery, and she facilitated some of that, but she couldn't go to that. She didn't have the funds to go to Arlington for the funeral, and I just, first of all, I thought the Navy should have taken care of her and done that. That's just so bad, but
that was
um,
horrible. Because how much money did they spend toting him around on tours for the war bonds? Like, they couldn't pay
yeah,
her to go, to have
mhm,
for his burial in Arlington
yeah,
Cemetery. That was terrible. And her family, I mean, I didn't get a great impression of his family, before, and the way they wrote stuff about him, I felt like they just kinda wanted to exploit that for themselves.
mhm.
I had a much higher impression of her than his family. So
Yeah,
for the way that they treated her then, was not very nice. It's not cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was sad. They kinda looked down on her, but I think the problem is that they wanted John to marry some kinda starlet or be involved in that for their
'Cause
benefit, and I
yeah,
think that's bad.
celebrity chasers
Yeah,
was his family, like, the whole freaking time. Yeah.
yeah. But she did make peace with, I think, his mom and some of his sisters and finally did get to go, see his grave and
Right.
go attend and see his statue and stuff, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that because that's in the book, and I think it's important that we understand, the human beings and the reality in real life, and I think it says something to her about how much she truly loved him that she never remarried and is buried with her wedding ring.
Yeah. Very
Um,
cool. Very cool.
you know, um, yeah, 21 for Dogface says, I know some of the family members for the Minute Easy Company do the same ride of fame or selling their items for big money. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's, I don't think that's right. But anyway, that's her story. That's their love story. It was short and sweet, but I think it was very meaningful. And I think that the connection that they had with the shared service and knew about that. It would have been great if he would have survived and you would have had a happy ending. But
Right.
that's not real life. But
Right. Yeah, Kurt James.
yeah.
Definitely, it's awful. She should have been there, not cool at all.
Mhm,
I agree, yeah, I mean, they to for that for the Navy or the government to not pay for her to be there. I mean, what are you thinking?
mhm,
I mean, really, it's like nothing, to for them to pay for that. And the fact that she just didn't have the money, right? I mean,
mhm,
she was in the Marines too. I know it's a non-combat role, but, they give up their time to serve their country, and, you know, they don't have enough money to go to their husband's burial, and then you won't pay. I don't know, that it's just
mhm.
not a good thing.
Yeah, and she's buried in California, so
Yeah.
that's her gravestone. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was a sweet story. It was a little bit sad, um, but I think there's a genuineness to it, and I think there's something to be said. First off, for the Marines and the Marine spirit. Um, I think he's an example of a great soldier that um, that did it the right way, and I think he's a good example for all Marines to look up to for doing that. But I think it says something about the American spirit. I think it says something about love and finding the right person. What do you think?
I totally agree. He was a hero, legendary Marine. I'm so glad that he finally got, his story told in this series. I'm just still shocked that a movie, like a full-length movie was never made of his, life, because you could easily do it starting from, Guadalcanal and then going through to
Mhm,
this, but I'm glad it got told in here. Yeah, I just an incredible hero, and then to see that he got this, really nice romantic love story,
mhm,
there towards the end of his life. that they had that happen. It was just really, to me, a beautiful story. To find someone who totally gets you and is totally right for you, even if it's just for a short time. Still a gift that they got before their life, before he was taken, and yeah, a really sweet story.
Yeah, and I think that's so great. And it just shows that there's something more to it. There's something more to his life.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. And then, of course, yeah, as we mentioned towards the beginning, for his actions on Iwo Jima, he got the second highest honor, the Navy Cross, and
mm,
he's the only enlisted Marine to receive both the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross, which I think is incredible. And apparently, his actions on Iwo Jima helped us establish the beachfront, and it still took another couple weeks, uh,
right.
almost a whole month, for us to take Iwo Jima,
Yeah,
which is just amazing. And I know there's several things, and the big thing that you wanna remember Iwo Jima for is obviously the flag that goes up with the statue and everything, which you see in several movies and other things that's depicted.
right.
But I'm kind of glad they didn't show that here.
Yep.
I think you needed to keep Basilone's story kind of separate. So
Yes. Yep, it ended the episode ended with, his life ending, and only shows this brief action on Iwo Jima. I think they could have shown more of his action, and, um, it seemed so just not even realistic, right? That everyone else is kinda hunkered down, and he's the one, helping really establish the beachhead. I think that that's true based on what's depicted there, that he's the only one getting them up, going through
mhm,
this causeway where they need to get to their objective, kinda clearing that out and getting everyone moving. And then when you read about it, it's even more
mhm,
impressive than what was shown on the film. Um,
mhm.
so that, I mean, I think they could have shown more there, even though it looked like, "Oh my god, this can't be," like, it looked like it was totally dependent on him, but based on, the accounts of the people who were there, it even was more so, and so, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. And Wes Cagle finally joined us. Hey,
Hey,
Wes.
Miss Cagle, how's it going?
Yeah, Wes Cagle, you'll have to rewind and watch it from the beginning, because I think this is a good episode for us to cover. So, but folks, yeah, that's episode 8, and we've got John Basilone. He was significant in this, and now we're probably going to see the rest of Sledge and his actions in the war as well. So we've got that coming up. We've got 2 more episodes, and then we'll get into a couple other things. We're going to get into the air war in Europe, and then we'll get into movies. And so,
Yep, it's all great stuff.
so
This series is turning out to be really good, and I
yeah,
think the weakest episodes, unfortunately, were at the beginning.
yes,
And so I had tried to watch this. I had, mentioned before, right after the first time seeing Band of Brothers,
mhm.
and just kind of gave up on it after that Lecky episode in Australia. I think was when I stopped watching because I was like, yeah, this is just not that good. And since then, this has been great. I mean, we've had a stretch of episodes that have all been really good. This is another one, really excellent episode.
Yeah, and I think also getting perspective from historians that have come on, like Marty telling us all about the show and about things, and then understanding what the mindset and what the people were really like
Hmm.
back then. It helps us kind of filter some of the garbage out,
Yeah,
and I think it helps me to sit there and go, okay, that's Hollywood, that's real.
yeah. But I would definitely say, if it doesn't seem that good watching the first, 1, 2, 3 episodes, keep going because it gets a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, it gets way better, folks. I would say probably the last from episode probably 5 or 6 on has
Mhm.
been really solid. You
Yep.
know.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yep.
All
So
right.
couple things. Wes Cagle's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he said, yep, it was quite some time after the flag raising on Mount Suribachi before the actual victory was achieved on Iwo Jima. Yeah. And then John Basilone's winning the Medal of Honor on Guadalcanal was an incredible feat. Yes, it was. So, yep, very thankful for him and his service. So,
Yeah.
all right, Heather, what have we got coming up? What have you got coming up? I know you're a wrench on many channels.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, one in particular.
Honorary. Maybe honorary on some. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really take credit for that. But
Yeah.
well, I don't know what we have coming up.
Pop culture breakdown coming up on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, we do.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, makeup. So we'll do crawl, which we were supposed to do the previous week, and probably have a ton of stuff to talk about since we missed last week. But yeah, come hang out on Overlord DVD's channel. I will either be on the panel, possibly on Pop Culture Breakdown, and I'm always in the chat and love seeing all you guys there on Friday Night Frolics and on Pop Culture Breakdown. Just like I love seeing all you guys here. So it's always great. I mean, everyone in the chat who shows up here, love seeing you guys. 2104 Dogface, everyone who comments, you make it so much more fun, and you guys always know. You definitely know more about the war stuff than I do. So love seeing all these comments. It's great. Really
cool. Absolutely. Yeah.
Great seeing you guys. Don't forget to hit the like too. And then have a good evening.
Yeah, folks, also leave some comments afterwards because I am 570, 72 hours away from getting monetized, folks. So I'm almost there. So need to push, need some help. If you guys can watch hours and then add comments, that always helps. But coming up on my channel tomorrow, I'm going to drop another Star Wars reaction video because these AI videos are just amazing. So it's going to be Luke visiting Padme's grave, which I just got tonight. And then got another one with Vader that I'm going to film that'll be for Wednesday. And then I'm either going to do Vader and Yoda, or there's a new Hoth one that just dropped that I'll probably, I may do the Hoth one. And Heather, you're welcome if you want to shoot one of those two with me to comment on those. But
there's so many cool ones. So many good ones, man. That's been great.
But next week we're not going to be here because obviously next week is the Super Bowl during our time slot. So I think I may have something on either that I may throw out there over the weekend. That'll be either the romantic movies according to a list, or I may do romantic songs. So I haven't decided that yet. So I'll drop a video on one of those things. So it won't be live. But the week after that, we're going to have the hits of 1978. So we haven't decided on an album we love yet. And of course, we're going to figure out a Western before the end of the month as well to do. So, so that's what we got coming up on my show. So
yeah,
pretty fun. So,
very
but
good.
yeah, look forward to seeing you guys on that stuff. And guys, thank you so much for leaving your comments. We appreciate them because I didn't serve the military, and I love your perspective, telling us about military terms, stuff with history. Again, Heather and I aren't historians, but we love history and we love learning about World War II, and we love learning about this time period. So thank you so much for all you guys give. Radioactive Actual, the one about the guy getting left behind on Hoth. Yep, I'm gonna do a video about that. I think that'll be the Friday video, and we'll save the Yoda Vader one for another time. But
yeah. Hey,
Sigvaldison's here to say the proper Harvey Cthulhu presents the Overlord DVD shows. Definitely. So
yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyway, folks, thank you so much for being here. Leave a like, subscribe, leave extra comments afterwards, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night.